In a previous video we showed how you can use server-side action scripting to define an action in the Dialog's onDialog initialize event to populate the dialog with data from one or more tables when the dialog is initially rendered. What we're going to show now is how you can create a button to make an Ajax callback to populate the dialog with data from a different primary key in the header table of the dialog. So what I'd like to do now is add the ability to type in some arbitrary invoice number, say invoice number 23, and then click that button and then populate the dialog. So let's go ahead now and see how we can do that. So I'm going to go back to design mode, go back to my controls, go to this button and then bring up Action Javascript, and I'm going to choose this action here, which is populate controls in a dialog component from data with data from tables, and then I can specify when the primary key is going to be specified. So I could, if I say specify now, I could hard code in some value like 23, but that's not really that useful. More useful is the ability to read the primary key that you want from some control on the dialog, or to execute some JavaScript function that will return the value of the primary key that you want. So I'm going to choose this this option, read from dialog controls, and then I'm going to choose which control I'd like to read the primary key from, and I'm going to choose this first control, this invoice prompt over there. And then I'm going to also say display debugging information, so we can see what actually happens when I make this callback. So let's go ahead now and save this, go ahead now and then run it. So we populate initially with invoice number 4 because that's what we defined in our onDialog initialize event. But now I'm going to go here and type in 23 and then hit populate, and you can see we made a callback to the server, and we got the data for invoice number 23, and this invoice only has one line item. So there's the data, there's the 2 SQL queries over there, and then here is the JavaScript that got sent back to the client. So now let's go back there and type in, say, invoice number 1. We'll do our populate, and you can see this particular invoice has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line items. So we've automatically added one additional line item to the repeating section over there. You can see there's our first command, which is set repeating section count to 6, and here is the data that was retrieved from the server, and then here is the command that actually populates the dialog. So you can see that adding a button to a dialog to go and retrieve data for a particular record is very easy. Thanks very much.